Welcome to the Morning Blitz with John Abraham, Captain Cool, and the Bandy Man Bailey Lowry. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Captain Cool.
Monday here in No Man's Land. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Grizz. That's right, we have a professional producer on the show for today. Well, other than Bandy.
Hardly.
Bandy does a great job at what he does, of course, and I'm always here for him. But whenever we get Chad or the Grizz on the show, you know, it's always something different, and there's always a little bit of a different dynamic going down. But welcome in to this week. We are finally in March, and that means there's one thing getting closer and closer, and that's the March Madness that we are very much looking forward to here at 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We'll be talking with one Mr. Drew D. Armand from Talking Ball later in the show about Alabama's chances at getting up in that bracket. But I'll also look at where the SEC is sitting right now. That top five is looking very appealing, going down the list of that, as well as going down what the best record Kentucky can end with on top of that, where Tennessee might fall, and where Alabama might end up in all of that. The last two games of the season are coming up for all of these teams, and Alabama will be going up against the Florida Gators tomorrow, and that will be on the station, and we will have a guest on to preview that matchup as well as Joe Hunk. But today, it's me and the Grizz, and Chad, I gotta know, all right? Wonderful, wonderful weekend for me. I want to know how your weekend was rolling, big guy.
I mean, I really didn't do a dang thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a beautiful weekend, the whole weekend. Anytime that I didn't go outside with the dog was a miss, honestly. Mm-hmm. Anytime that I went inside to clean or do something around the house or just kind of get away from being outside multiple times, it was just in my opinion, was just a miss. And I tried to get out of the house as much as possible. I mean, it felt great. It was a pretty weekend. Was able to go in some. It was wet in some areas, but it was for the dog and for me. It was able to just to go out and walk and some trails and stuff like that. Like just getting out was nice.
Oh,
it was,
sure.
Yeah, not being cooped up in the house was better.
Most definitely. I remember.
Did watch the game, so I mean, did watch Alabama lose. Did watch Auburn win. I mean, it was a great weekend around the SEC for sure. I mean, there's a lot of stuff down the stretch. There's a lot of good teams heading into next week for tournament. Championship. So
yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. I know you are, as well as the rest of the station. Another thing we didn't really get to focus on too much, I don't think a lot of people were talking about it last week, is Alabama actually was playing in baseball as well against a pretty good Dallas Baptist team, a top 25 ranked team. And Alabama was going into this game 11-0, okay? So they were riding hot into this matchup, and of course there's still a few more weeks until SEC play, but they were sadly just not good enough in this matchup, and they dropped out one 5-7, giving them their first loss of the season. But looking forward, they get to go up against Jacksonville State, Jayville State, whatever they want to call themselves. On top of that, Troy, so two Alabama challenges, and then a Tennessee challenge against the Lipscomb team. That is a full series, and then they get to go to Southern Miss, and then on March 15th, that's when it all goes down. They're going to be going up against 8th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers team that has been a little bit back and forth. Alabama has actually been that team that has really been able to stand strong in their first few games of outer conference play, of course leading the SEC. But whenever it gets down to this time of the year, whenever they start playing up against real competition in the SEC, that's when things are kind of thrown out the window. Okay, that's when we really get to gauge how these teams are looking throughout the season. And a good challenge going up against the Tennessee squad that is top 10 ranked. But Chad, I enjoyed my weekend in a different way. Didn't get to watch the baseball game. Didn't get to watch really the Buckhorn game either, which got me so sad.
You had to watch it.
It was the leap.
If you live here, if you live here, it's on Alabama Public Television.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. In my opinion, they should do the semifinals. They should do the region finals. Everything that is a finals type of thing should be on television so people can watch it. And you have an opportunity to watch your kids locally here. And also, you should be able to have your radio crews do the radio feed for said game. Now, there should be an option for that. You shouldn't have to pay these stupid fees for something. I'm totally against all these sites you have to go. Yeah, the streaming sites you have to go to. Yeah. You should make it public for people to watch. I mean, all you had to do was turn it on 25. That's Alabama Public Television for everyone around here locally.
Yeah, very easy to watch.
Boom, right there. You had every single finals game right there, and it was great. And even better was the Buckhorn game, which was listening to it on the radio and listening to the I don't know if you heard it, was listening to the interaction where one of the Mountain Brook players ran into the broadcast.
Oh, jeez.
So, like, you didn't see it. You could kind of see it on the TV broadcast, but the radio broadcast was great. It was just hilarious to sit there and listen to those guys. They're like, oh, I don't know what's going on. And then what was great was Buckhorn started playing better.
Yeah.
And it was like a change of events for Buckhorn, but Buckhorn without Caleb Holt, I mean, that whole team to be able to do what they were able to do in overtime against a well-coached Mountain Brook team, that was great. In itself.
No doubt about that. It was a lot low scoring of a game than Buckhorn is used to. They're going up against the Mountain Brook team they faced off against last season in that 6A championship. And this rematch couldn't have been any better, all right?
Yeah.
It was back and forth all game long. And although I didn't get to watch it live, all right, I did get to see some stuff go down. And Fred Derrick, I got to say, very impressed with him all season long. He was able to get the most points in the night with 19 in that game. But 16 from Caleb Holt definitely is going to help out with pushing you guys ahead of that Mountain Brook team. And then at the end, something special happened, and I love this. This is what shows the characters behind these players, that they're playing basketball. This is whenever you look at them, and they are human. All right, whenever it gets to the point when they're professionals, people can look past the human aspect of it. It's still a huge role. And high school level of basketball, there's so many things that can affect the way that these kids play. And being in front of thousands and thousands of people in Birmingham, that is a tough task to ask for these kids. They're able to achieve as juniors and sophomores against a really good, really experienced Mountain Brook team. And then you see what Caleb Holt does afterwards. And this is the stuff that really shows you.
Yeah, that was special.
Really shows you where he's going in life. He gave the MVP ball to Fred Derrick because he straight
already has one.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
First thing he does already have.
He already has
last
one.
Year. But on top of that, it's like, you know what? This is a
great
team
player.
sport, and you gotta give it to the guys that are helping you all the way. He would give it to every single person on that team if he could. All right, he would cut that ball up into little pieces if it was a cake, and give it to the entire team. But it's got to go to one guy.
It's Freddie Fingers over here swiping the ball away, making history. I mean, Buckhorn legend.
Just
you know what I mean?
Absolutely insane. We don't know, where all he's going to go in the future and all that stuff. He's not going to stand up to some of these, 6'10", 6'6" type of kids. But I talked about it for the longest time. One of the shortest kids on the court, one of the biggest impact players when he is on that court. And that's exactly what we got to see.
I mean, he's just doing a great job all around. Seriously.
Cold Freddie.
Yeah.
You see him all the time, and now he gets to get another championship under his belt.
But also, I want to say, too, congratulations for, just remarkable. Tim Miller and the Hazel Green Girls.
Oh, yeah.
7 straight state titles. I mean, that just in that remarkable, whether it's girls basketball, boys basketball, or we're talking about the whole situation with Caitlin Clark scoring points and everything like that. Just scoring that many points is remarkable, whether it takes that many years or not, or whatever it does. But to be able to win 7 straight and to be a consistent program, I mean, that takes a lot, and it's something that here locally that we take pride in. So
yeah, no doubt about that. North Alabama had a good weekend of basketball, as well. Although some teams like Huntsville dropped in the
you had Ider girls, you had Marcel Bible boys. I don't know if I can finish the rest of them.
It's all right.
There's so many that were in the North Alabama. There are a few more in the North Alabama area that I haven't finished. I mean, I sat there and watched majority of that whole Saturday. I mean, it was a pretty good weekend for sure of basketball if you were a basketball fan.
And again, we talked plenty about Huntsville Panthers basketball with Drudy Armand. We got to do a few of those games. Still, a Final Four appearance, another school just getting
congratulations
into
to them. Grissom to be able to make it to the tournament.
Exactly.
I mean, to be honest with you, this is one of those teams where I'll tell you, this is one of those teams where this was a team. This was a team that was able to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the problem, and what I said before was there's a lot of individual talent. That was a team around of a team that sat there and got together and said, we want to leave a legacy. We want to go out strong in our last few years here at Grissom.
No doubt about that.
So I mean, but Huntsville, the run they made to be undefeated, not to lose to a single team until they ended up playing Enterprise in that in that semifinal game.
Yeah, first Alabama loss of the season, which is wild to see. They lost against a Memphis team that was nationally ranked. They lost against, of course, Montverde, which was top 10 nationally ranked. So, I mean, you just look at that. This Huntsville team has gone through so many great things, and then they've also played up against Grissom a few times, which that's what made it so difficult for Grissom to get through.
I'll also say this, too. The TV broadcast, the broadcast itself, video and everything like that, it felt like a true college broadcast. I know I said that about football, but the basketball, the camera work, everyone that was a part of that whole broadcast, I mean, I thought that was a really good broadcast to have for those kids as well, to showcase those kids' talent.
No doubt about that. So we got to hop into a break. When we come back, though, we're hopping into a little bit of the NFL Combine as we got to see a few guys sketch their names atop the draft boards, at least the stock draft boards, because some surprises, some injuries, of course, that's just going to happen, and just some interesting takeaways from the NFL Combine this year. But we'll be back here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hello, sports fans! The Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today and tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by Sports Betting Alliance. sportsbettingalliance.org.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3, 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner. The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Increasing clouds heading into this Monday night. We'll see low temperatures fall into the upper 50s for the overnight. A few isolated showers going to be possible mainly after midnight as well. Heading into your Tuesday, widespread rainfall, potentially a few thunderstorms going to be possible. High temperatures look to top out in the upper 60s for the afternoon. We could also see gusty winds as high as 25 miles per hour. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube. But you are the greatest hero in American history. We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hello, welcome back in. The highly energetic Morning Blitz, John Abraham Capital, alongside the Chad Gwathney, a.k.a. Grizz. That's your song right there. That's the song that really gets you back in the mood for this show. I know you're used to listening to that song whenever you're just listening to the show, but now you actually get to feel it.
I'm a Franz Ferdinand fan, though.
Dude, I know.
I mean, they actually have a few bangers. I mean, there's a few.
Oh yeah, I talk about
bangers only. Getting ready for soccer, by the way.
I talk about it all the time. Which yes, we're very much looking forward to HCFC soccer going down here in Huntsville. But Franz Ferdinand, there's also a song from the Madden 09 soundtrack that I talked so highly about that they did, and I didn't know it was Franz Ferdinand for the longest time, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, there's a few. They've got a few good songs.
If you're
for
ever
sure.
going to the gym, whenever you go to the gym, definitely play some Franz Ferdinand, and you will be feeling the pump. But I will say, over the weekend, I got myself into a lot of, I would say, dictatorship movies. I watched. I know, it's hard. Yeah, right off the bat. Wait for a second. I'm not.
You had my attention, but I don't know why.
That's exactly what I like to do. I like to throw out things.
Yeah.
Grab the listener. Grab the viewer.
Someone just almost hit the.
I know, people are like, get this guy out of this country. I watched Jojo Rabbit. All right, I already talked to you about it. Good little movie. It's about a kid that has an imaginary friend, and his name is Hitler. That one, besides the point. I ended up watching Dune 1 and Dune 2. Already watched
Dune 1's good. I haven't seen Dune 2.
I gotta say, solid movies.
Yeah.
But there's no, like, instant classic. Like, you can't just say, in the future, whenever there's probably gonna be, like, 5 Dune movies, you can't just say, I thought number 2 was the best one. It's gonna be a full-on saga that you're gonna love to follow. Definitely go down and watch that movie. It's a spectacle. It's a spectacle. Do I think it's one of the best movies ever? No. Did I think it was the best movie back in 1980 when that one came out? Definitely not. But I think it's a spectacle because it's something different type of storyline, and also those CG effects are absolutely wonderful. The sound was amazing. But you know what was even better than that? I almost called you Bandy. Chad. You know what was even better than that?
What's up?
A little bit of NASCAR in Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm just going to touch on this for
It wasn't a wild finish, though.
It wasn't.
It wasn't like, I was surprised. There wasn't like stuff all over social media like, what a finish, 3 cars to the end.
Nobody thought they were going to see that in Las Vegas. It is not the type of draft track draft track that we were used to in the first 2 races of the season. But we got those ones out of the way. And now we get down to Las Vegas, a lot more of that NASCAR that people don't like as much of, where you get one guy going very much far ahead in the form of Kyle Larson, who won every single stage, as he does. This is what he does, okay? In Las Vegas, I mean, he was able to sweep him last fall as well, whenever they went down there. But I will say, the ending, although every single lap was pretty much led by Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick was about to give him a run for his money at the end. He was getting quick. And the funniest thing is, everybody talked about it going into this season, where the Ford's going to be at. They're going to be at the top, right? A Ford is yet to win this year, all right?
Yeah. Ford did finish second with Ryan Blaney, but Toyota came in third with Martin Truex Jr., which that was my guy if I was going to pick for the trifecta. That's always my guy. That is one of my guys that when we're talking about NASCAR and it's not the young guys like Larson and Elliott and all these guys that are young that are taking over, William Byron and everything like that, which I like William Byron. He's an iRacer and he's out here doing it better than some of these dudes that have been like born into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really like just Martin Truex because he's kind of like the older guy, like he's the senior driver a little bit, in a sense. And I've always liked the Bass. It was also the Bass Pro Shop car for forever, so like that. I just love that too. So I mean,
no, I totally agree, and that's another reason why I like Noah Gragson so much from Stuart Haas. And this kid, he's 25 years old. He's been racing this last 2 years in the Cup. And he's starting to show a little bit more of that pizzazz, okay? 2 top 10 finishes. This kid's starting to look a lot better. And I picked him because I was like, okay, there's a number 10 out there. It's not Eric Amarola or whatever his name is, and it's not Danica Patrick. So I love this guy, all right? So I was rolling with him, and he's in my 3-team setup that I've got throughout the season, which I have a bench player as well. It's almost like fantasy, but I do it amongst friends. And I got to say, Martin Truex is in that team now. He definitely is, and he's just a consistent racer. But Tyler Reddick driving in the Toyota, catching up to Kyle Larson at the end of that race was definitely the spectacle that we were waiting for. Despite him not being able to get it done, it was still amazing to see him go from 0.53 seconds all the way down to 0.12 seconds and then almost getting the lead.
Crazy thing about that is I'm not trying to knock Ford or anything, but the crazy thing about that is the next Ford was Oscar Cindric at 11th, and I like him too. I think he's a great driver too. He's another young driver. I like him. I think some people don't like him, but I like him. There's a lot of young drivers that I like that the way they drive because they drive old school a little bit, and it's not like the kind of like how we had where literally this was not an anticlimactic finish to a race which we want to see, which no one wants to see Rex, but I mean Rex do make the game better. I mean they make the driving better.
They make it a lot more intense, definitely. And I will say I was looking for Joey Logano to have a good little race, of course, in that Pennzoil Ford, and that's just not what happened. He got the pole position, he was just not able to stick with the rest of the pack, and a lot of it could go down to the downforce that the Fords have, especially whenever they're not being able to draft with everybody else in the pack. But when it comes down to those Toyotas now, though, I mean, there's a little to no speculation that these cars are going to be able to hang with the pack, especially after Tyler Reddick was able to nearly chase down one of the Chevys that was going extremely fast all day long. And it's crazy to see now Kyle Larson, although he led every single stage, where is he at in this list? Where is he in the top 25 or the top racers on the season? He's 11th with 58 points. You know who's first? Kyle Busch. Still sitting at first. He just manages to find his way up to the top and lead a few laps himself, but he's standing at the top of the standings.
He's just consistent. That's
77 points.
Racing by himself out here.
Very much consistent.
Like Ricky Bobby, the me car.
And then Bubba Wallace is another one that, although he was down a few laps at the end of this race, he's just been able to be consistent as well.
Yeah.
And whether you hate him or you love him, he's able to get top 10 finishes quite often. But now I want to turn my ties, and you guys can join in on the conversation. 256-576-4977 is the number to get into a little bit of this combine talk because, Chad, we had some speedsters in that 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
And the one I want to talk about, and you can definitely jump in on this, is Xavier Worthy from Texas.
I thought you were going to talk about Lad McConkey.
No, we'll talk about him as well. But 4.21 in the 40-yard dash, of course, breaking John Ross's standing record at
Falcon
4.22. He was a Falcon at one point.
No, I'm just saying, make him a Falcon.
No, make this guy a Falcon. Yeah, Xavier Worthy would definitely add a lot. And the same could be said for any of the other wide receivers. But this definitely pushes his stock because even with John Ross, coming out of Washington, there was a little bit of conversation about him. Then he ran that 40-yard dash, 4.22. That's whenever he really got national recognition. The Bengals were able to pick him up. They wanted to do something with him for years, and they just were not able to get it done. But for Xavier Worthy coming out of Texas, he had a little bit more of that training and a very good system. I'm thinking that Xavier Worthy definitely boosted his draft stock. And you know who really showed out is the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks. I don't know. There's going to be, I'd say 6 QBs drafted in the first round, and that's not too crazy, but we didn't think we were going into this draft thinking that there would be too many amazing quarterbacks. We knew there were going to be the Caleb Williams, the Jaden Daniels, but now you're going to add on to the list a J.J. McCarthy in the first round. Why not? Michael Penix Jr., why not? Even Joe Milton was able to throw the ball 70 yards looking like he was just playing backyard football. It was ridiculous. You can go and find it over on social media. The broadcast that shows him throw the 70 yards is very impressive. But what's even more impressive is the video of the guy standing behind him while Joe Milton chucks that ball down the field. That thing disappears. That's like those highlights at Top Golf, wherever you just hit the ball and it's just gone. That's the type of productivity we got to see out of these guys. J.J. McCarthy's going to be a team player. Michael Penix is going to be very athletic. But who's going to pick these guys? How many teams really need these dudes right now? And that also leads over to the mock drafts that are coming out right now after the Combine. And I got to admit, I kind of like some of these pickups, all right? Latu on the defensive side of the ball kind of left, a little things to be desired. Okay, Rome Odunze did a great job. He kind of boosted his draft stock. Brock Bowers didn't do much of anything, but he's still going to be a top 10 pick. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, Rome, I liked watching that one clip where he was trying to do the cone drill, and he was trying to make his time go down. Yeah. He did like 4 times, and then he did it his 5th time, and he just messed it up because you could tell he was exhausted. But it's just like you could tell that there's a lot of guys out here that are trying to make more money. They're trying to make a name for themselves. They're trying to get the draft stock risen and really get as much money as they can through that draft.
And Nate Davis came out with his mock draft after this Combine came to an end. He's from USA Today, and I looked down his list. Okay, Chicago Bears obviously going after Caleb Williams. We all know that's going to happen, all right? Justin Fields is going to find a home somewhere else. Do you want him, though? I'm looking at you, Chad.
I'm not looking at you.
Do you want to Justin...
ignore this question.
Okay, so I know where this one's going to go. Do you want a Justin Fields type of player on your team?
No, because I feel like if we're going to sit here and talk about how I've listened to Merrill Hodge talk about how Caleb Williams isn't worth the pick and everything like that. Why does Justin Fields, and then he was for Justin Fields because he's had 3 different coordinators since he's been there.
Yeah.
Okay. Baker Mayfield has had 7 different head coaches and probably 5 different offensive coordinators. I could see where maybe a change of scenery could help him out. Like, I want to be as positive as I can.
Yeah.
And let the Atlanta Falcons, I feel like the franchise in itself just doesn't care enough because they're not going to do what's right for the fan base. They're going to go for somebody. They're going to give up a lot for him. That's the problem. You've given up a lot before. How's it turned out? You have a high draft pick. Draft a quarterback. Draft somebody. You have not drafted high for something like that in a long time.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's the 8th pick. It's no different. You've picked edge rushers and everything like that at terrible picks like that before. But, I mean, how much longer are you going to keep doing that and trading for guys like that that are only going to make your franchise be 10-6 at the most? Yeah. 2 more games more than the guy before. And you're going to give up so much to just say, hey, what if? And it might not work. I mean, when you drafted Matt Ryan, all you had to do was put key pieces around him. You have key pieces, so now you feel like this quarterback is that missing piece. Well, why isn't another quarterback the missing piece too? If these guys are young, these guys have years. There's a shelf life. I get it, but these guys have years. These are young guys on the offense that they can put around them. It's always been defense. It's never been the offensive problem. It's always been defense. It's edge rusher. Draft Dallas Turner at 8.
Oh.
I don't care if it's not a quarterback. Go for Kirk Cousins or another quarterback that's been proven. Okay? Mitchell Trubisky through 3 seasons has better stats than Justin Fields, so stop telling me Justin Fields is the way.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
And I'm just tired of hearing it. It's constant with we're a problem too. We're a problem. We constantly talk about it, but we constantly bring up these hypothetical situations thinking that like Justin Fields is the savior of Atlanta or whatever by putting him.
Didn't say that.
You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? It's laughable to think that like some of these guys are going to work. Even Caleb Williams. I am not a big Caleb Williams fan. I think if the Bears draft Caleb Williams, they're going to make a terrible decision.
I think it'll be a little interesting.
So
definitely a little bit more of a conversation to go on with throughout the week. But we got to hop into a break because when we come back, we're getting Drew DeArmond from Talking Ball on to talk a little bit of Alabama basketball as well as the finales in high school basketball around the area. That's what's coming up here on the Morning Blitz.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Dr. Rick here. If you find yourself getting particular about where you get the weather, you may be turning into your parents.
Looks like it might rain. Let's see what Corey from Channel 2 has to say. He's something else. I like him better than Harris from Channel 5.
You could just look up the weather on your phone.
I like Corey from Channel 2.
Progressive can't help you from becoming your parents, but we can help you compare rates on home insurance with Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
March means basketball, and nothing goes better with basketball than Bad Daddy's Burgers. And this Friday with our Zone deal, you can get $50 worth of Bad Daddy's Burger Bar goodness for half price, just $25. Bad Daddy's is the place for chef-inspired burgers, giant chopped salads, and craft beer. Enjoy the madness with some half-priced badness. Get your Bad Daddy's half-price Zone deal this Friday online at 977ESPN.com.
Listen to UAH Charger basketball all season long.
Rebound kicked out to Luke for three. Yes, sir! Luke Burnett! Keep shooting, young man!
Listen to UAH Charger basketball all season long.
Sailor along the baseline. Muscle it up, big man. Lace it up and in! Daniel Sailor makes it a 10-point game.
Listen to UAH Charger basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle. The same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Increasing clouds heading into this Monday night. We'll see low temperatures fall into the upper 50s for the overnight. A few isolated showers going to be possible mainly after midnight as well. Heading into your Tuesday, widespread rainfall, potentially a few thunderstorms going to be possible. High temperatures look to top out in the upper 60s for the afternoon. We could also see gusty winds as high as 25 miles per hour. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white rubber.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Blitz, John Abraham, Cap Cool, alongside the Grizz. This show is presented by the wonderful people over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com to fill out your free quote today. And remember, the Fleming guys always show up. kind of put my own little spin on that one. Probably shouldn't have. But this segment actually is presented by Alumni Hall and McCurry Motors, because we're going to be talking with one Mr. Drew DeArmond from Talking Ball about this Alabama squad moving forward to the end of the season, as well as what it sets up for going into the NCAA tournament, especially with that top 5 in the SEC being closer than ever. Drew, how are you doing today, man?
Doing good, guys. It's great to be with you. I hope Bandy's having fun at the dentist. It's always great to go there. I've got one coming up.
It's never fun.
But Bandy, I know you and he are, I'm sure, ecstatic. We got to see the Buckhorn Bucks repeat in 6A, and and I got to give, I know him well. I know Tyler Davis and his son Ty. They did a heck of a job of getting the game slowed down and containing. You're never going to stop them, but they contained Caleb Holt to a degree, 16 points, 12 rebounds instead of the 32 and 18 that he got last year. But they got the game to overtime, and if you'd have told me beforehand that, Caleb was going to foul out and not play in that overtime, I would have favored Mountain Brook. But what a job by those kids. Jeremiah Wilson, who's a rising senior, and then the other rising senior, and that's Fred Basketball Head, and that's Fred Derrick. He's always been underrated. He's never been afraid to take a big shot, makes huge free throws, a huge drive to the rim, and then the steal to seal it. What a job by Buckhorn and Patrick Harding. Very hard to repeat. Yeah. Because you got a target on your back, but that's 2 straight state titles for them. Hopefully they're going to get a good shot at a 3rd straight. I'd love to see Caleb Holt stay here in the community and continue to play. I know he's going to have options, but I'd like to see him come back for his 4th year at Buckhorn. He's such a joy to watch and could be, the greatest player in Madison County and even state history at this rate with what he's accomplishing. But what they accomplish as a program, Patrick Harding, 2 straight titles now in what was already a Hall of Fame career, and just great for the community. And then to sweep it in 6A, Tim Miller, 7 in a row. That's unprecedented. Never been done in state history. He's now won, I believe, a record 11, which Jack Doss has 10 on the boys' side, but he has now 11 on the women's side because he won some state titles at Jeff Davis and at Bob Jones. So he's just done amazing work in his career, and certainly a Hall of Famer as well. And so we're blessed in Madison County to have a lot of great coaches and a lot of great players. And I got to give a shout out to my Crimson Panthers too. We certainly didn't make the finals and get a shot at Hoover. We lost in the Final Four, but still the best year in school history, 32-3. The only tournament the Crimson Panthers didn't win was the Final Four. They won the N2 Hoops. They won the Mako Classic. They won the Huntsville City Classic. They won their area tournament. They won the regional. Just a great, great year. Caleb Harrison should be on the short list for Mr. Basketball. I think that'll be won by Caleb Holt, even as a sophomore. But certainly Caleb should be a first-team All-State, and that's Caleb Harrison, player in 7A. And then a guy that's on the short list of the Super 5 or whatever. I think he's the best post player in the state, along with Dwayne Brown at Hoover. And Dwayne Brown, shout out to them and Scott Ware. They won back-to-back. They throttled Enterprise 59-34, I believe was the final score. So shout out to Hoover for winning 2 in a row. Wish Huntsville could have matched up with them because they did beat Hoover early in the regular season, but they'd also beat Enterprise. So you're not guaranteed anything when you get to the Final Four, but it was a great breakthrough for Huntsville High and a great year overall for Alabama high school basketball and Madison County especially.
No doubt about that. And we look towards the future. Of course, that's just what everybody does. After a championship comes to an end, we think, are the Chiefs going to be able to do it yet again? It's the same thing for even high school basketball because just the amount of talent that's coming back for both of these teams, Huntsville and Buckhorn. I mean, Buckhorn going to have Fred Derrick, going to have Jeremiah Wilson coming back, and on top of that, hopefully Caleb Holt. And then on top of that, I mean, Huntsville's got a few guys that are standing above even Caleb Holt on their team that, are even freshmen. So, I mean, just talk about the returning talent for both of these teams as well.
Well, I mean, certainly with Buckhorn, Caleb Holt would be the best player in the state of Alabama. Jeremiah Wilson's a Division I prospect. Fred Derrick is going to play college basketball. Devin Chapman. They're basically only losing Austin Childress and Jackson Ramsey out of their rotation as far as Buckhorn. So certainly they're very, very talented, and they would be on the short list as above the best teams in the state of Alabama. Huntsville is going to have 5 of their top 6 returning. Caleb Harrison's moving on to Samford University. They did lose their 7th guy and already lost him before the end of the season. And I think that was a crucial loss down the stretch in Merrick McCartney. But Huntsville will have Josh Bowman back at the 5. They'll certainly have, Braden Rivers, who can play the wing, who's going to be a wing guy. They're going to have Simon Walker back at the 2, Eli Stapler back at the 1. No doubt about that. And J.D. Gossett, who's kind of a junkyard dog, can play anywhere. But they're going to have, that's probably going to be their starting 5. I don't know if they'll have a true power forward, but they're going to have size and length. And then they're going to have, some young guys on their bench that are going to need to mature and grow into roles like an Evan Toms, who could even play the the 5 or the 4 spot. He's a 6'8". He'll be a sophomore. He's got a lot of potential. We'll see how much he improves. Remember the name Trey Pinnell. He'll be a freshman, and so we'll see. Where all the pieces fit. But Huntsville's going to be talented. They'll have Nunu Baker back, who was another kind of crucial defensive guy who his role may expand. But Huntsville's going to have a really talented squad as well. They'll have a chance to make another deep run, get back to the Final Four. But there's going to be a lot of talent returning. Hazel Green's going to be Hazel. I know they're losing Leah Brooks, but Coach Miller's always going to have a great team as long as he's there. They'll have a chance to win 8 in a row, which is just staggering to think about.
2 rotations of high school students coming in. I mean, that is impressive.
I think he said the incoming. I mean, obviously all the freshmen that were there, the seniors, then they won every single year. Obviously, they've been there. I mean, since they were 8th graders, 9th graders, something like that. So it's just insane.
Which is very nice. I mean, all of them know winning going into their college careers, whether they play basketball or not. It's just a great mentality to have. Now, real quick, Drew. I know it wasn't the best week for Alabama athletics, but let's head down to Tuscaloosa and kind of think about what the end result's going to be like for this Alabama team and what the best outcome could be.
Well, they lost to Tennessee. Tennessee's the best team in the Southeastern Conference, in my opinion, and will have a chance to seal up the regular season. It's not going to be easy at South Carolina and playing Kentucky, but I've seen Tennessee. They beat Alabama twice. They're better than Alabama. Alabama is going to have a very tough bounce back. They've got to go tomorrow to Gainesville to play the Gators, who took them to overtime in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll have Latrell Wrightsell back. He wasn't back on Saturday. He's been out for 2 weeks. His impact has definitely been felt, his loss, but Alabama's still trying to play to get a spot in that top 4 and get the double bye to Friday, and this will be in a couple of weeks in Nashville for the SEC tournament. It looks as though right now the 4 teams that have the best shot, though, are Tennessee, South Carolina, Auburn, and Alabama. I still think Kentucky's not going to get it in the end. I think they'll lose on the road at Tennessee, and that will end it. Florida's already got 6 losses.
Yeah.
So if Alabama can come out with a split this week, they go to Florida, and then they return home to play against Ernest T. Bass and Arkansas, then I think that Alabama can get in that top 4, and that would be big for them. They would end up, very likely they could, whether they're in the 3 or the 4 slot, both of them will be tough. In the 4 slot, you probably see Tennessee. Though I will say, if South Carolina beats Tennessee on Wednesday, that they got the tiebreaker. They beat them twice, and if South Carolina could win at Mississippi State, they'd have the 1 seed. And I think if they beat Tennessee a second time, I know Mississippi State will be playing for their lives because they're on the other side of the bubble, but I think Carolina would still beat them. I think they would. They know what's at stake. Like I said on my show and 2 others this morning, I'd have to research it. When is the last time a team picked dead-ass last in the preseason poll, won it all in the regular season? And South Carolina has a chance to do that. I still like Tennessee, though, to win on the road. They lost a very close one in Thompson Bowling. I know it sticks in their craw. It's their only home loss of the year. This is an old Tennessee team, and what Tennessee's playing for is do what Alabama did a year ago. They have a very real chance to win the regular season, then win the tournament, and be a 1 seed. Tennessee, in their basketball history, has never been a 1 seed. Even with the Ernie and Bernie show, they had a 2 under Rick Barnes and Admiral Schofield, Grant Nelson a few years ago, Grant Williams. A few years ago, they had a 2, and then I know they were a 2 under Bruce Pearl a couple times, but they've never been a 1. So they got a chance to be a 1, and so they know what's at stake. And so I just think overall, and then Auburn will finish strong. They've got 2 very winnable games at Missouri, then at home against Georgia. And I really haven't looked at all the scenarios if Alabama can't win out. Like, I know Alabama and Auburn split, but I don't know from going forward after that what the tiebreaker would be, who would be the 3, who would be the 4. I haven't done enough research on that yet because, again, if Alabama beats Florida and Arkansas, then they'll be the 3.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see because Auburn does have 5 losses. But I do think Kentucky, I know they have only 5, and Jeff's been saying that they could still get in that top 4. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think overall, when you look at it, they're not going to be able to handle Tennessee in Thompson-Boling, even if Tennessee loses to South Carolina, because Tennessee is still going to be in the conversation for a 1 and to tie for the conference lead. And it's not inconceivable that Mississippi State beats South Carolina and you still get the help you need to win the league. So there's a lot at stake in the last week.
The only
of the
thing
SEC.
that shows me that might be different between Alabama and Auburn is possibly that Mississippi State game because Auburn lost to Mississippi State earlier.
They split with them, and Alabama beat them twice. Excuse me. You're right about that. It could go all the way down to that, Chad. I really haven't researched.
But Auburn beat South Carolina and see.
But to close it out, I was at the Tennessee game. Alabama was very fortunate to go into halftime with a 2-point lead. They did not play great in the first half.
Yeah.
But in the second half, they came out swinging. They built a 7-point lead, but they couldn't build on it. They couldn't pull away with connecting foul trouble and not playing his best offensive game. Zakai Ziegler was unreal, and his return this year has been a huge engine for Tennessee. And then, and there are other guys. I mean, they had Meshack made a couple of big shots. Josiah Jordan, Social Security, made some big plays. Yeah. Vescovy made some big defensive. They're just old. They're old and they're good. And their experience, I think, won out over Alabama. Alabama not having rights on. I just thought Alabama fogged up too many threes. They do that sometimes. I thought Riley and Griffin, there was some bad shot selection. I thought they should have started.
Their shot chart. I mean, it is.
They should have been attacking the rim more and trying to get to the free throw line. They settled for 3, and some of them were open.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't go in. That was one of those days because they hung in on the glass, and then. There was key 50-50 balls and then an offensive rebound late that led to a Tennessee 3 that put them up 5. That just against a team like that, you got to make those few small little plays.
I heard what you were saying earlier today, but Rylan Griffin, one of those guys, you can't play him 29 minutes and only 5 points. You can't have Grant Nelson.
Well, Grant Nelson burned the tape. I mean, that was horrendous. Yeah. He only stayed on the floor 16 minutes. He had 1 3. He got punked. He didn't play worth a crap. I mean, you got to tell the truth. Yeah. They got enough, even though he played I didn't think he played nearly as well the second half. They got enough out of Estrada, and of course Sears and Pringle brought it. But they just didn't get enough. They needed more out of Grant Nelson and Rylan Griffin if they're going to beat a team the caliber of Tennessee. No. And they just didn't get it. And the Vols, I think, are the best team in the league.
Yeah, that's your
Grant Nelson, we know for sure. Rylan Griffin's one of those guys that's like, you need to score some points to help out this roster.
Yeah. But that's the recap from Drew DeArmond from Talking Ball. You can catch him 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays. But we got to hop into a break. When we come back, try and figure out a little bit more of what it's all going to come down to in the SEC here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hello, sports fans! The Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today and tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by Sports Betting Alliance. sportsbettingalliance.org.
March Madness begins in the Rocket City as the Conference USA Men's and Women's Basketball Championships come to the Von Braun Center March 12th through the 16th as 9 teams look to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Lock in your seat for all the tournament action now and get the best seats available to be right on top of the action. And thanks to our friends at Dave & Buster's and Main Event, we have Power Passes available and 4-pack single session tickets available now that include $60 in savings. For more information, visit VonBraunCenter.com or visit the VBC box office.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Score big deals at Baumhauer's this football season and order from our Inflation Bites menu. Try our Buffalo Wing Special with fries and a complimentary beverage for only $9.99. And what's football without a cold beer? Our pitchers of Yingling and Yingling Flight are only $7.99, served all day, 7 days a week. And huddle up, football fans. Sign up today for our free NFL Pick'em contest at Baumhauers.com for weekly prizes. Baumhauers, legendary fun and legendary food.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Increasing clouds heading into this Monday night. We'll see low temperatures fall into the upper 50s for the overnight. A few isolated showers going to be possible mainly after midnight as well. Heading into your Tuesday, widespread rainfall, potentially a few thunderstorms going to be possible. High temperatures look to top out in the upper 60s for the afternoon. We could also see gusty winds as high as 25 miles per hour. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Each week, check out our latest Zone deal online at 977ESPN.com.
I'm eating good food.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I mean, what can I say? Madden 09 soundtrack always is cooking the heat. Welcome back, John A. Ramp, Captain Cool, alongside the Grizz here on the Morning Blitz. We just had Drudy Armand from Talking Ball on, presented by Mercury Motors and Alumni Hall, to give us a little bit of a recap on the Alabama-Tennessee matchup, and on top of that, of course, give congratulations to all of the North Alabama teams that went into Birmingham to face off against some challenging opponents. But again, come out victorious, at least some of them, and set up pretty well for next season, and very much looking forward to it. But as we talk about the end of high school basketball, we talk about, a lot of people's beginning to college basketball, because it's finally getting into March Madness. And we got a lot of great games slated moving forward, but the SEC is the one thing that we're looking at right now because, of course, we're in the Southeast. We're going to talk about these teams, and, of course, Drudy Armand was able to throw a few of those ideas at us. But what I put down was the final rankings going into the tournament, the SEC tournament, and it goes Tennessee at 14-4, all right? A win against South Carolina, and then a surprising loss to Kentucky. I think Kentucky's been rolling very hot as of late, and I think they're going to be able to push through and get the win, especially with that nice little matchup against Vandy that'll get them prepared for the final game of the season. Alabama sitting at number 2, 14-4. They are able to find ways to win in these next two games against the Florida Gators team that has also been doing pretty good, as well as an Arkansas team that has been very surprising. South Carolina, 13-5 on the end of the season. A loss to Tennessee, a win against Mississippi State. It'd be good for South Carolina, but again, I'm a little skeptical about that Mississippi State game. I don't know if they're going to be able to get it done. Auburn at 4, 13-5. Win against Missouri? Of course. Win against Georgia? Most likely. Missouri has not won a game in the SEC. It's that bad.
It will not continue.
It's that bad.
Or it will continue to not win. Sorry.
Kentucky 13-5.
Psychology.
Finishing out the SEC top 5 with a win against Vandy and a surprising win against Tennessee. Lots of fun stuff to look forward to this week, going into next week in the SEC. For me and the Grizz, we're going to get out of here. In 22 hours, Bandy Man will be back on, and we'll be able to take your guys' calls as well as get into a lot of good conversation on a Tipsy Tuesday here in No Man's Land. You guys have a wonderful rest of the day and enjoy all the great broadcasting coming up here on 97.7.
Hello, sports fans.